Howdy folks, my name is Reddy Opco, and welcome back to part number 19 of Let's Play Super Mario 64. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got one course left out of 15. Let's hop on in. We're going to be cruiser crossing the rainbow in Rainbow Ride. We're finally here, folks. We're finally here! I'm so excited to be finally doing Rainbow Ride. I've only been hyping it up for basically the entire playthrough, letting you know that course number 15 was going to be a challenge, and of course as soon as I load into the level, I can't help but die in a most hilarious fashion. That is just a little shortcut to get throughout the level faster. It lets you skip a little bit of the opening portion that you otherwise have to wait on one of these flying carpets for. As you can see, there was one right at the very entrance that leads us in just a little bit of a loop to lead us to the upper area, but you can do things a little bit quicker by jumping to that pole, assuming you don't completely miss the jump and die like I did. So yeah, Rainbow Ride. Rainbow Ride, the final course in Super Mario 64, is definitely deserving of this spot because this place is tricky. If you can't tell, these flying carpets are going to transport you all throughout the level to different places. However, the gimmick that they have is that if you spend too long off of the carpet, they will actually completely disappear on you. Very similar to it going to the end and falling off of the rainbow. Either of these things are going to leave you with a pretty bad time, so if you can, try to stay on your carpet, try to avoid any fire, of course, as that will send you running off the edge and into certain doom. As I was mentioning in TikTok Clock, the very part before this, Rainbow Ride, course number 15, is even trickier than there, because as you can see, it is doing everything that it can to knock me into what is death at the bottom of the stage. It's making me jump over this rotating platform multiple times so that I don't get knocked off of the carpet. There's fire, there's Lakitus, there's Goombas, there's all sorts of manner of enemies and obstacles that are going to be in your way and going to prevent you from reaching your goals. Yeah, so Rainbow Ride really is tricky. I apologize if there are times where I stop talking so that I don't lose my focus, or if I start talking all wonky like that, because yeah, it really does ask of you to focus quite a bit. But here we are on the cruiser crossing the rainbow. Let's not get hit by the bob-omb buddy there. Grab our very first power star in course 15. Only 6 more. Star number 2, the big house in the sky, is going to lead us on a very similar route to the star before it, so I'm going to take the time and talk about how Rainbow Ride is a course in Super Smash Bros. Melee that was, if I'm remembering correctly, Rainbow Ride was also in Brawl. I may be misremembering that one. Rainbow Ride was definitely brought back for Ultimate, because everything was brought back for Ultimate, so that's not necessarily the best marker of which ones it was or was not in, but I know it was for sure in Melee, and it was one of my favorite stages back when I played it as a kid, but then as I started to get more into Smash as a teenager, you know, I learned of the competitive scene and whatnot, and I tried my hand just a tiny bit, but never in a really serious manner, because I kind of came to the conclusion that fighting games are probably not the type of competitive game that I will ever be able to be high level at. There's something about fighting games that just doesn't click with my brain for whatever particular reason, so Smash Bros. Was my very first foray into that experience, and yeah, it was a really interesting time. Rainbow Ride in particular... Oh, okay, we can save this. Not entirely dead yet. Use the recovery heart and get back on the carpet. As long as you don't fall off the stage, you can recover, you know, general rule. Alright, see if we can take things more carefully the second go around on that other carpet. That one is really tricky to traverse, especially while you're talking at the same time. As I was talking about, the Super Smash Bros. Melee stage, Rainbow Ride, is very cool. I appreciate actually the inspiration that it takes from Rainbow Ride, just how many aspects of the actual 64 stage they managed to pack into the Melee stage. I really find that stuff neat. I appreciate the stage representation in the Smash Bros. Games. They generally do a pretty good job of, you know, maintaining the original feel of everything. Okay, let's get a... Oh, man, that is a really tricky jump. That is really dastardly. and every time you fail it and fall to that platform below, you have to wait for this long carpet ride, so I think I'll meet you there. Alrighty, looks like I should be able to manage to do it on this go. Like I said, as soon as I stop talking, it becomes a much easier task. Oh my goodness, why do they make you do that? That is so hardcore. Maybe hardcore isn't the right word, but that is a really tricky platforming. Like, you gotta be quick. You gotta be real quick on your feet. Okay, on top of the big house is going to be our requisite power star that we've actually come here for, and thankfully I haven't actually died collecting this one yet, but as soon as you enter in the house, you are going to see why I had a lot of trouble with this star when I was younger. Camera will pan into the house, Mario will become his odd polygonal self, and it's the stupid fire from the fireplace that always gets me, because you're going to do one loop through, and then you've got a few more of these prism platforms, if you will, that allow the carpet to pass through, but not Mario. He is too fat and Italian to bend through the prisms. Okay, and I'm gonna prep for a backflip here, because I think that'll be the easiest method. And then of course it's gonna take us through the bottom of the big house once again on this very same path. This is the one that always tripped me up, is that I would get hit here once the rainbow dips back to the fire. I would always get hit here, and then I would fail out of the stage. But I managed to narrowly avoid the fire. We're going to ride the carpet up onto victory. Yeah, I think this was the star that actually gave me the most trouble. Not one that's coming up. That one I actually found pretty easy when I was younger, but yeah, this star on top of the house tends to actually be tricky. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this 1-up mushroom, or... Okay, goodbye. I'll just grab the star instead. Star number 3, coins amassed in a maze, and guess what, folks? Our final 100 coin stars on the horizon. I'm going to be ignoring the shortcut over there that I've taken the past couple of times, because it is not actually seeming that much of a shortcut, and because there are 8 convenient to collect coins just right here. It's going to start us off on our journey to collecting the full 100. Please don't get hit by the fire. Oh, alright, see if I can... There we go. Alright, we're good. We are all good. You're probably going to hear me say that multiple times in Rainbow Ride, because it is really a sketchy level. Lots of very precarious jumps that are very close. Just like that one. These moving, rotating platforms are not the nicest. Oh, getting hit by the Lakitu in midair, also not the nicest. It would have been cool to grab the coins that he would have dropped. I think Lakitu drops 5 coins in this stage, so it would have been helpful if we would have been able to grab those, but unfortunately, they all seem to have careened off of the edge, so we're probably going to have to make do with a couple of enemies that are just down here, like this Shy Guy. Come over here, Shy Guy. Let me punch you in the noggin. And I would rather not jump off of the top of him if possible, because it'll do the twirling thing that the flowery enemies in Snowman's Land did. It will twirl you up into the air, and that can be very, very, very disastrous in Rainbow Ride, getting sent up into the air like that and not having as clean control as you would of Mario otherwise. So this side area of Rainbow Ride, or I guess it's not really a side area, we'll actually be coming back here for one of the following stars here in a moment, but for the time being we are just using it as a coin collecting spot, and it is working out quite well for that purpose. These platforms are called donut lifts because they have the little holes in the center. I guess they looked like donuts in the original game that they came out in, which would have been Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, which is one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. Seriously, it is an absolute classic. Cannot recommend that one enough. Oh, okay, we're safe. Now, I need 8 more coins to continue on my adventure. Let's see where I would be able to collect those from, perhaps. Before we can go over to where the actual red coins are, we're going to need 54 coins, as there is a blue coin switch over there, which is going to give us 6 blue coins for a total of 30. And that's going to bring our total up to 84, and then of course the red coins are going to finish us off for the final 100. Just gotta make sure to get up to 54 before we actually go over there. Because Rainbow Ride, if you can't tell, is just a little tricky to traverse backwards and forwards. They kind of intend for you to collect the star, you know, get to the end of the path, collect the star, and then restart the stage from the beginning, rather than trying to go backwards and forwards through it. I get that sensation as I play it, at least. Alright, I'm thinking I can long jump over here, and I believe there should be 8 coins waiting for me right on this platform here. No, this is just going to have a 1-up for me. Well, in that case, have I done an unfortunate thing? That doesn't appear to be the case, so I'm going to hop back on this pole for safety reasons, so that I'm not jumping around in dangerous places. Where does this pole lead? Oh, I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to avoid that one, and going to attempt to continue as innocently as possible. Okay, so we might end up having to do some unconventional tactics in order to collect these final 6 coins that we're going to need before we can go over to the red coin maze. Wow, that fire was dangerously close to hitting me. Probably means it is going to be dangerously close again? No, I think it's actually going to avoid me entirely. Fantastic. Now all I have to worry about is the rotating platform. We should be good. I know for a fact that there are a couple coins up on the Rainbow Cruiser, and I'm hoping that I will be able to get up there and then back down. Not 100% sure about the back down part, although I might be sent all the way back down to the bottom of the level and have to retry again. It may end up being what happens because this is really, really sketchy. But I think this is a little bit safer than taking the other carpet over to the big house, and it will definitely be easier to return from the Rainbow Cruiser as opposed to the big house in the sky over there, at least if I'm remembering correctly. So there should be some coins over here, yes indeedy. It's going to bring us up to a total of 56. And now for the tricky part of getting actually off of this thing. Oh, especially if the wind is going to keep blowing while I'm up here. That is going to make my return trip really extremely tricky. Okay, avoid the bob-omb. Just run to the other end here. Another coin could never hurt us, although it might make collecting the 100 coin star a little tricky. Okay, this is an interesting situation. Okay, we've made it on up here. Alrighty. Okay. And if I'm thinking correctly, I can just ride one of these donut lifts, basically right on down to where I want to be. Oh, nope, that's going to lead me back to this carpet. Please, please! Oh, I thought I wasn't going to land on the platform there for a moment, and I was having a little bit of a panic attack, but that is a-okay. Turns out there's 2 bob-ombs over here, so I didn't necessarily need to collect all of the coins that I went out of my way to do so, but as long as you enter this area with 54, as I mentioned before, you can stomp this blue coin switch, make some crafty wall jumps all the way up here, and grab the other ones. Oh no! Well, 82... I think I already biffed one of the bob-ombs since he exploded already, so I'm gonna end up with 99, aren't I? I'm gonna end up with 99, aren't I? I'm going to end up with 99. Oh, man. Yeah, no coin for me. No coin for me. He has a coin. But this is going to leave me with just not enough to be able to do it. That is really unfortunate. Okay, I'm going to have to exit the maze area, I think, to be able to find another coin. And where is it going to come from, I wonder? Gosh, do I have to climb all the way back up to the Rainbow Cruiser? Oh. Please, I don't want to die. I'm too young to die. Okay, I will meet you folks wherever it is that I manage to find a coin, and pray for me that I don't die. Okay, so I've made it to the second carpet right after that first one, and there's a line of 5 coins right there, and then this donut lift will actually take me right back down to the rotating platforms, get right back into the red coin maze. Looks like things worked out better than I anticipated, but I was really worried there for a second that I wasn't going to be able to grab 100 coins, and was going to have to restart this entire attempt, which has taken me a good long time at this point. I imagine that this is probably going to be one of the longer course videos once it is finally finalized. Some of the stars are really easy to grab, and then some of them are just so tricky. But thankfully we've got this one out of the way. This is one of the trickier ones, grabbing 100 coins in Rainbow Ride, and it's the very last time that we're going to have to collect 100 coins in Super Mario 64, which is super exciting. I'm looking forward now, actually. I'm thinking I will be able to play this game some years from now and look back on when I did it for the YouTube and the experience that I had here trying to play the game while talking at the same time. Probably experiencing a much easier go if I don't have to talk the second go around, but there's our 100 coin star, bringing the total to 115 already. That is incredible, incredible stuff. We've only got one more red coin. We can already see it within our reach. Perfect. Just gotta grab that star and finally get on out of here. We've only got a few more to collect in Rainbow Ride before we are ready to take on Bowser. Super exciting stuff, man. Star number 4, Swingin' in the Breeze. You know, that's what they call me when I don't wear any underwear. Okay, I'm really sorry for that poor joke. That was a bit tasteless, a bit classless, if you will. On the other hand, hey man, that's some pretty funny stuff, right? So we're going to return onto this path that we were on before to collect the 100 coin star just previously. We're actually going to follow it all the way to its conclusion now, if we can help it, and not fall down off of that platform. That is one of the trickier ones. These swinging platforms are a little tricky. Their momentum acts a little weird. I think it's because they don't really have momentum as such. They're just kind of programmed to swing back and forth. So they have a long period at the end of the swing, at both ends of the swing, where it's moving much slower. So it makes it pretty easy to get on top of it. It's not terribly difficult. That was some smooth flipping and jumping, if I do say so myself. Moving through this level real cleanly. That was good stuff right there as far as I'm concerned. I mean, usually I'm falling all over the place, but it looks like we are able to collect Swingin' in the Breeze rather easily. Power Star just waiting right there for us. Star number 5, Tricky Triangles, with an exclamation point to let you know that you are in for a doozy of a time. So, Tricky Triangles is indeed one of the trickier stars in Rainbow Ride. I think this is probably the one that a lot of people remember having trouble with as a kid. If I had to have a guess, this is the infamous star of Rainbow Ride, if you will. I don't particularly think it is that terribly difficult. It's just a tricky platforming challenge, but I think if you go through TikTok Clock before Rainbow Ride, it does well to prepare you for the challenge up ahead of the Tricky Triangles. So we've got to go through the same little platforming side area that we had to go through to get to the star right before this, which I think is kind of you know, I will mention again, it's that tall mountain, gotta do the same exact task multiple times in a row. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of that particular aspect of the later course design, but I think it ends up being okay when the challenge is so tricky as it is here. Going to wait for the fire, and here we are at the Tricky Triangles. So this is indeed a little tricky, because once you step on this switch, they're going to invert the triangles, and then we've got to get all the way over to the Power Star. You can barely see the shadow right to the right of the 11 of my coin counter. You can just barely see where the star is going to be. Let's see if I can get this first try. So, Tricky Triangles, how tricky are we today? Oh, apparently I was completely wrong about that being the star. That is just a one-up over in the distance, but indeed I was able to master the Tricky Triangles on the very first try. Pretty proud of myself for that one. We've only got one more star here to collect. Our final star, star number 6, in Rainbow Ride, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I guess they really just couldn't help themselves with the Wizard of Oz reference at this point, you know. After Mario Over the Rainbow, they just gotta go for it. Somewhere over the rainbow. Why not? So, this particular Power Star I'm gonna be 100% honest with you at this very moment that I don't know where it is. I have been racking my memory to try and figure out where this particular power star is, and for whatever reason, I'm having a lot of trouble specifically remembering where exactly that tricky power star is. It's not... If I'm guessing by the name, you can tell by what I'm doing in the maze, or perhaps you can't tell since I haven't told you exactly what it is that I'm doing over here. We had passed beforehand with the blue coins a bob-omb buddy. I think I actually have to wall jump outside of the maze in order... That's embarrassing. As I was saying, you need to wall jump outside of the maze in order to get to the very tip top of it, as you cannot get up to this area normally. And right up here is going to be our pink bob-omb buddy. I did not talk to him before, because I think I didn't win... no, I must have gone this way since I took the elevator. I just totally passed him by and didn't talk to him for whatever reason. I'm not 100% sure why I didn't take the time to just talk to him, but what we gotta do is unlock the cannon at the... Let's see... You know, as far as ship terminology goes, I think I really only know port and starboard, which would be left and right, respectively, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100%... no, the front of the ship is the bow, and the back is the stern? If I'm not 100% incorrect. I'm not really familiar with nautical terminology. I've never had a boat, really been near boats. My dad had a boat for like a year when I was in like the 7th grade or something, and we took it on the lake all of like 3 or 4 times, which was a really joyous time, don't get me wrong, but it did nothing as far as teaching me, you know, boat terminology, so you'll have to forgive me for that one, but either way, the cannon on the very back of the ship is going to open up for us, and I believe that is going to be the ticket to getting over the rainbow. That said, I don't know where the star is going to be as soon as I hop into the cannon. I just kind of have a rough idea that that is going to be my goal, considering the name of the star. So, hope for me, folks. Hope I don't get hit by the fire, the moving platform. This rotating platform really is a nasty bit of business, just because of the way that it scoops over the top of you so many times. But if I'm careful, take my time with it, shouldn't be too terrible. Can probably avoid that one. Yep, perfectly fine for the rest of the journey. Just gotta actually make it on top of the boat to the cannon. And then, the star is going to be, hopefully, where the cannon is pointing, and not too much farther than that. Or would it be further? I'm not 100% what the distinction between those two is. I am not an English major. I would like to say, you know, I generally, like, in school, I was good at writing English papers and such, but actually speaking the language and fully understanding it, not necessarily. I can just make really pretty, long, flowery sentences on occasion. Well, wish me luck. This looks like it should make it. This looks like it should make it. They put a Chuckya over here. That is turbo rude. I'm gonna get the box as quickly as possible, and that's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the final. Oh, I didn't make it with the ground pound. I had to actually jump into it. If that Chuckya hit would have grabbed me, it would have been so dangerous. But as I was saying so excitedly before, that is it. That is star number 119, which means we can finally go up the final staircase, and I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. I'm so excited. Very first thing I want to do in the next part is hop right on into things. Let's open the final star door. Would have taken, actually, I believe that star door is open to you at all times, as long as you were able to access this very 3rd floor of the castle as soon as you have 50. However, before you have 70 power stars, this staircase here will have an effect on it that makes it basically endless. However, as soon as you have 70, it is a rather normal staircase leading up to the final portrait of Bowser and one more hole. I'm sure that you guys can guess what exactly we'll be taking on in there, but I'm going to leave that for the very next part, the final part of Let's Play Super Mario 64, part number, 19? 20? It's one of the two. It's going to be part number 20, and I hope to be seeing all of you folks then.